Well, actually, we're going to start by looking at Hylissang, and I feel bad for the guy, to be honest. They had it within arm's reach, but they threw it away. They threw it away.
Yes. That's why we can't really feel too bad, you know, about this. So this was obviously G2 trying to even out the, in a way, like the throwing parts of this game here, because this Baron is like super risky. Perkz is also getting zoned off, if you look at the minimap, by Exile, and actually ends up dying. Xerxes obviously steals the Baron. This is the punishment for going for that risky play if you're G2. And here we were like, okay, game over. We get a third game.
Because the biggest throw didn't happen at the Nexus. The biggest throw happens after this push, when they open up the bot lane inhibitor, and they decide to go for Nexus turrets, but they greed. If you just base with this comp, the most beautiful 1-3-1, potential 1-4 with double teleports, that's where the mistake happens. Now here, I don't think we can question this play, because nobody can predict. Because if this works, it's the most genius play ever.
Yes.
If it's one hit off, the unicorns.
Oh, there was no Tahm Kench ulti, so they couldn't even have used that like further into the base, unless they actually just used, because they used the Ryze ulti to get close to the Nexus, but none of them actually got into.
This is like Fnatic OMG levels of close.
It's so close, but like the Ryze ulti didn't put a single member of the 4 in range to actually auto the Nexus instantly. So they had to run to the Nexus, and most of them, like with the Rumble ulti and everything, and Varus ulti, they just like ended up dying before they got there, and they were one hit off. Now, I don't know the exact range of the Ryze ulti, but if they couldn't come there just slightly closer, they would actually have won the game.
Whew. Yeah.
So we can't really fault them for that one, but we can fault them for
the previous one, the one that we didn't end up seeing, but after the Baron, they over-pushed, they over-chased, and that's where they give the game away.
Yeah, they gave the game away because G2 ran mid lane with 2 people. They took an inhibitor turret, they took an Elder Dragon, they stalled the game. And again, this was G2's game to lose, because Unicorns had some fantastic moments in the early game. Despite G2 starting off okay, it was that decisiveness that we saw from the Unicorns that we wanted to see, where they just really keep chasing for picks as a team, and it came to fruition.
Yeah, it's interesting how we saw the two sides. First up, we saw G2 making moves in the early game and showing us how to shut down a Tahm Kench properly as they dive on the bottom lane and get a 3-for-1. So that's a great start.
Yeah, funny thing is actually later in this replay, they showed them what not to do against Tahm Kench, but the first part here, it's a great setup. There's a deep ward being placed, they can TP to, Trick roams down when they know they can actually push in the Unicorn's bot lane. Like, everything here is just super clean.
Macro 101, A+ at this point. The problem is, and this is something G2 has done in the past too, when they get too proud of themselves, they linger. They stay too long, because right now, they're going to get the skill on Exile with some really sweet jukes, but at that point, you need to call a play, because in the top lane, Vizicachi is just whacking away on that turret. Yeah,
and obviously a very big part of Unicorn's comp was to get Chachi ahead. Like, get him to Hexstring or Black Cleaver, he wins the side lane, he ends up taking quite a few towers in this. This is where, obviously, just run. Like, just get away.
Why is Expect pushing his wave?
There's the Tahm Kench. Yes, you showed how to play against him at first, but then you also showed what not to do. And this actually ended up being a good trade for Unicorns that put them ahead, which then led to another big play, also actually being set up by Tahm Kench and Hylissang, that kind of further snowballed them, which should be...
Yeah, definitely. We're not going to take a look at that because we have a very interesting interview lined up in just a second as well, but we just want to close this one out. 2-0 for G2.
Yeah, 2-0 for G2. I like that we saw at least more from Unicorns in Game 2, and let's be honest, if it was...
Should have been a third game.
Should have been a third game.
Yeah, they should have been a third game. Unicorns will be very unhappy with what happened in the last game, but if you're G2 Esports, you had a great first game, you make a comeback in the second game. I mean, overall...
You play your game and your laners do well, which is what we called out in the beginning, right?
So they can be happy with Game 1. I'm sure the players will probably question a lot of things in Game 2, but they got a 2-0 against the other undefeated team in the league.
Yeah, and now, real treat. Dracos is standing by with the man behind the undefeated G2 Esports, so let's send it down for a word.
Thank you very much, Shux. I am, of course, joined by Ocelot, owner of G2. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, your team almost took it to a Game 3 on a backdoor. They fought back. They got a quadra kill. Is the backdoor curse now broken?
Hey, I can feel it. I can finally feel that the backdoor curse is over, you know, after many months and even years, you know, with headaches, waking up 4 a.m., sweating, you know, with nightmares about the backdoor. Finally, it's over. I could see it. I could see, you know, with my own eyeballs, I could see that it was gone forever.
Well, it's good. I mean, it's good to hear that the curse is now over. Hopefully, it won't come up again in the future at all. Now, I'm curious.
I
don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it. I'm holding back. I'm holding back. All right, it's over. We'll settle it. But looking forward, I mean, tell me what was kind of running through your head during that game too, because it was very back and forth.
Yeah, UOL is a great team, right? So you could see that they fight very well. And they have this style that I used to love as well, very, very aggressive, even mindlessly aggressive. And sometimes it works, you know. So it was very nice to see at least that the team could at least, you know, think a little bit about the moves they had to make. Do we want to fight? Do we not? And kind of, you know, decide the course of the game throughout their own decisions, not by reacting to UOL's decisions. The second game was a bit rusty, a little bit not too good, but overall we won against a really amazing team. So I'm pretty happy.
Has to be good. You're once again on top of Europe, but the one area where you guys have always seemed to falter is that international competition. So I'm curious, what are the next steps for G2 when it comes to improving on the international stage that you've already clearly dominated the domestic one?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely fucked up, and I'm sorry for the wording, but we fucked up in Worlds and MSI. We did very bad there, and it's not because of lack of work, really. Even after all the, you know, vacation meme and whatnot, we really worked very hard, right? And it still didn't work, didn't happen, didn't have any success internationally. So we are just working twice as much right now and kind of trying to make sure that doesn't happen again. But it's really impossible to kind of know whether that's going to be the case or not. So all we got to do right now is just put in the work and expect that we can at least get a top 8 out of 8 in IEM, at least. You know, we're aiming low, but, you know, at least we'll see step by step.
All right, well, it's good that you bring up IEM. Top 8 out of 8 doesn't seem like the expectations that your team probably has. So I'm curious, what is your genuine goal for this tournament? Where do you think you guys can place? How do you think you stack up against the competition there?
I mean, I've seen some shit, you know. I can't just tell you, nah, I've seen everything, you know. Before MSI, before Worlds, I got asked, what do you think is going to happen? And I was like, yeah, you know, maybe semifinals and maybe win the event or whatever, you know. And I was actually genuinely believing it, right? And then I got this, you know, cold water into my face, and the expectations were definitely not met. So at this point, I just don't want to talk. I just want to keep working. I just want the guys to keep working and to keep our expectations basically non-existent and to just play, right? And we don't deserve anything. We have to earn it, right? It's just, G2 is just a name, right?
At the end of the day, I mean, I'm excited to see if you guys can earn it. Good to hear that, you know, you're not putting too much into it, but you're just looking forward to playing, letting your actions speak for you. Actions, always louder than words. But of course, you talked about games. We have another set coming up next. It's going to be Splice versus Fnatic. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back after this.
Expects in the pit, he gives his life. Oh my goodness, Unicorns of Love have come up with it. There is no tower, and Perks shuffling around the side. They turn their attention to visit Chachi, but Perks goes down.
Fine. What was he doing there? Not respecting.
I don't even know anymore.
I don't even know anymore.
No flash.
Nice.
It's going great for Unicorns right now. They're getting knocked up, but Hillising is going to get a nom on onto Sanix. Mithy and Sven, a double kill. They're looking for everything. They nearly get the ace. Easy is going to be the only one left. They defend, but there's a big Gnar. 1 auto, 2 autos, 3. No, he just didn't. Oh, are you kidding? There's one damn hit left.
Sven gets the quadra kill and stops Unicorns from ending the game. UOL, what was that? Why would you commit all 5 members to ending? Those are really long death timers, and G2 mid, they might look to end the game.